Did you know that more than 1 in 7 adults in the United States has chronic kidney disease, but a staggering 90% of them have no idea they even have it? That statistic comes straight from the CDC, and it usually stops people in their tracks because it feels impossible to have a serious health condition and simply not know it. But here is the reality about your kidneys. They are incredibly resilient and silent workers, filtering about 200 quarts of blood every single day to remove waste and extra fluid. They do not scream when they are in trouble. They do not cause sharp pain in the early stages. Instead, they slowly start to lose function, and by the time you feel tired or notice your ankle swelling, significant damage may have already been done. This is especially risky for anyone over the age of 60, or anyone managing high blood pressure, diabetes, or a family history of kidney issues. The good news is that while doctors can run tests to check your GFR, or glomerular filtration rate, you have a surprising amount of control in your own kitchen. What you eat every single day can either add to the burden on your kidneys or take the pressure off completely. And today, we are going to focus on one specific category of food that confuses a lot of people: fruit. Your doctor wants you to know exactly which fruits act like medicine for your kidneys, and, just as importantly, which fruits you might need to be careful with depending on your stage of kidney health. Stick with me, because this simple information could change the way you look at your grocery list forever.
Before we dive into the specific fruits, we need to understand the basic problem. Chronic kidney disease, or CKD, happens when your kidneys are damaged and cannot filter blood the way they should. This causes waste products and extra fluid to build up in your body, which can lead to heart problems, bone weakness, and nerve damage. The two biggest drivers of this damage are high blood pressure and diabetes. Over time, high blood sugar acts like sandpaper on the tiny blood vessels inside your kidneys, while high blood pressure puts them under constant strain, like a hose that is always turned on too high. Most people do not realize this, but every time you eat, you create a metabolic reaction inside your body. Animal proteins and processed grains tend to produce acid, and your kidneys have to work hard to buffer that acid to keep your blood pH balanced. This is where fruits come in as total game changers. Researchers have found that eating more fruits and vegetables actually lowers the acid load in your diet, which directly reduces the stress on your kidneys. A recent study published in the American Journal of Medicine and highlighted by Harvard Health looked at people with both high blood pressure and kidney disease. The researchers split them into groups, and one group simply added 2 to 4 cups of fruits and vegetables to their daily meals. After 5 years, those who ate the produce had significantly less kidney damage compared to those who did not. But wait, it gets better. That same group also had lower blood pressure, lower bad cholesterol, and healthier body weights. They used a specific list of fruits, including apples, apricots, oranges, peaches, pears, raisins, and strawberries. So this is not some exotic, expensive superfood regimen. It is just real, whole fruit working exactly the way nature intended.
Now let us talk about the absolute best choices for your kidneys. The number one fruit that nephrologists love is the apple. Apples are high in fiber and have anti-inflammatory properties, but most importantly for kidney patients, they are naturally low in potassium and sodium. You can eat them raw, bake them with a little cinnamon, or chop them up into your morning oatmeal. Pears are another incredible option for the exact same reasons. They provide that satisfying sweetness and crunch without overwhelming your kidneys with minerals they cannot process. Next on the list are berries, specifically cranberries, blueberries, and strawberries. Cranberries are famous for preventing urinary tract infections, but they are also fantastic for kidneys because they contain specific antioxidants that reduce inflammation in the filtering units. Blueberries are often called a superfood because they are loaded with anthocyanins, which protect blood vessels, including the delicate ones inside your kidneys. Strawberries give you a huge dose of vitamin C, which is important for immune health, but without the high potassium levels found in bananas. If you have early-stage kidney disease and no mineral restrictions, eating a cup of mixed berries several times a week is one of the smartest moves you can make. Here is a fruit that surprises a lot of people: grapes, especially red and purple grapes.
They contain resveratrol, the same heart-healthy compound found in red wine, but without the alcohol that can raise blood pressure. Grapes have been shown to help reduce markers of inflammation in the body, which is crucial because chronic kidney disease is essentially a state of constant low-grade inflammation. Pineapple is another winner, specifically for people who love tropical flavors. Many tropical fruits like bananas, mangoes, and oranges are very high in potassium, which can be dangerous for advanced kidney patients. But pineapple offers that sweet, juicy flavor while remaining low to moderate in potassium, making it a safer choice.
But I have to give you a very clear warning right here, because this is where people accidentally hurt their kidneys, even while trying to be healthy. If you have been diagnosed with moderate to severe kidney disease, meaning stage 3 or higher, your doctor has probably told you to watch your potassium levels. High potassium or hyperkalemia can cause muscle weakness and dangerous heart rhythms. This means that while fruit is healthy for a normal person, some fruits can be dangerous for you. The biggest offenders are bananas, oranges and orange juice, kiwis, nectarines, and dried fruits like raisins and dates. A single dried fig or a handful of raisins has a concentrated amount of potassium because all the water has been removed. If your lab results show high potassium, you need to limit these fruits strictly. That does not mean you never eat them, but you might eat half a banana instead of a whole one, or you choose apple slices over a glass of orange juice. Another major mistake people make involves fruit juice. Even if it is 100% pure, no sugar added juice, it is missing the most important part of the fruit, the fiber. When you drink a glass of juice, the sugar hits your bloodstream very quickly, which spikes your blood sugar. For diabetics, this is a direct threat to the kidneys. Plus, fruit juice is much less filling, so you often consume the sugar of 3 or 4 oranges in just a few seconds. Always choose the whole fruit over the juice. Your kidneys will thank you, and your waistline will too. Now, let me share a specific routine that you can start tomorrow morning to protect your kidneys. I call it the kidney-friendly reset. When you wake up, start with a tall glass of water, as long as your doctor has not told you to limit fluids. Hydration is crucial because it helps your kidneys flush out toxins. For breakfast, have a bowl of oatmeal topped with fresh blueberries and sliced strawberries, and add a drizzle of honey instead of sugar. If you are in the later stages of kidney disease and need to watch your potassium, swap the berries for 2 small apple slices or some chopped pineapple. For lunch, include a small side salad with dark leafy greens like kale or arugula. But remember, if you have potassium restrictions, you should boil your leafy greens briefly and drain the water, which removes about half the potassium. For a snack in the afternoon, reach for a crisp pear or a handful of red grapes. For dinner, focus on a lean protein like fish or chicken, but make half your plate steamed vegetables like green beans or cauliflower, which are lower in potassium. Here is a very practical tip that most doctors do not have time to tell you in a 15-minute visit. It is called the leaching method. If you love vegetables like potatoes, sweet potatoes, or even carrots, but you are worried about potassium, you can cut them into small pieces, boil them in a large pot of water for about 5 to 10 minutes, and then throw that water away. Do not use the water for soup or gravy. Throw it down the drain. This simple cooking technique removes a significant amount of the potassium while keeping the fiber and some of the vitamins intact. You can do the same thing for fruits if you are baking them, though most people prefer to just eat smaller portions of the low-potassium fruits instead. We also need to talk about portion size, because even good things can become problems if you overdo it. The National Kidney Foundation and most renal dietitians recommend that a serving of fruit is about half a cup, or a piece the size of a tennis ball. You do not need to eat 10 servings of fruit a day. That is too much sugar even for a healthy athlete. 2 to 4 servings of fruit per day, combined with lots of non-starchy vegetables, is the sweet spot for kidney health. And please be careful with over-the-counter pain relievers. Non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs, or NSAIDs, are very hard on the kidneys. If you have a headache or joint pain, reach for acetaminophen instead. And always talk to your doctor first if you have known kidney issues. As we wrap up, I want you to remember that fear is not a good long-term motivator, but empowerment is. Knowing that you have the power to slow down the progression of kidney disease by simply changing what is on your fork
or in your fruit bowl is incredibly liberating. If you have high blood pressure or diabetes, controlling those conditions is step 1.
And eating a diet rich in the right fruits and vegetables is step 2. If you are a senior or you are caring for an aging parent, these changes are not about perfection. They are about consistency. Maybe you swap your morning glass of orange juice for half a grapefruit or a cup of tea with lemon. Maybe you add a side of apple slices to your lunch instead of chips. Small daily wins add up to massive victories over time.